And hello, everybody. Welcome. Happy morning to you. I'm Rob Booker, and in today's presentation, I want to take a look at some of the long-term charts. I think this is really interesting for us to do sometimes, and the time is now. This is the time to do it. I want to welcome you here if you're joining for the first time, and if you're here on a regular basis, really happy to see you here also. Welcome. I'm calling these much longer term trades Titan trades, and coming up later this month, on a Saturday later this month, or at the very beginning of September, but probably at the end of August, we're going to do a Saturday class, and we're going to call it the Titan Trade. That is coming up, and of course, those of you that are lifetime members, you get that class automatically. And if you're not a lifetime member, I will send you information on signing up for that class separately. A Titan trade, to me, is a trade with a really big profit target, a long-term time horizon, a trade you're willing to get in and stay in and build a position, create a position out of a puzzle. You take the pieces of the puzzle, you put them together, and then you create a big trade that you hold on to for a while. And of course, you don't risk all of your money taking it, but you stand to gain a lot from it. And the fact of the matter is, if you can hold on to a trade for a long time, a really good trade for a long time, that becomes a big, satisfying win. And the fact of the matter is, they don't come that often. They don't occur that frequently. But you got to know where to look and when to look. And as a matter of fact, the time is now. Now is the time to look. And today I want to walk through some ideas on what the elements are of a successful Titan trade. And number one on the list is a huge amount of patience and a willingness to sit on the idea and think about it for an extended amount of time. The willingness to stalk a trade for weeks, as I have been doing with the S&P 500 here in front of us. I've been stalking this trade for weeks and weeks and weeks. I wanted to take the trade here. There was no indication that it was ready. I wanted to take it here. There was no indication that it was ready. I wanted to take it here. There was no indication that it was ready. And now, as of yesterday, the trade was ready. It's actually even ready about a week ago. But I waited and waited and waited. And I've even said in recent emails, it looks like the market's overcooked. It looks like the market's gone too far. It looks like the market's overextended. It looks like there's going to be a crash. I don't think the crash is going to be a long-term crash. I think that it will probably crash and then go right back to doing what it was doing before. But I want to be ready for it. And I want to be able to hold that trade for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, well, as long as I possibly can, but for at least a couple of weeks. And I want to turn this into a Titan trade. But in order to do that, I need to wait. And I needed to patiently hunt for this trade and stalk it. You could also use the analogy that I was growing it. I was planting the seeds, and then I was waiting for it to bear fruit or grow. So the first one on the list is patience. Number two on the list is a willingness to hold on to a big win. Now, most of us are accustomed to more short-term views in the world of trading. We're accustomed to short-term trading with a robot or short-term trading on the day trading and getting out of all of our positions at the end of the day. Well, a Titan trade is something that you're going to hold on to for a while once it's a win. Willingness to hold on. However, boundaries and limits for losses. A Titan trade isn't something that you hold on to forever if it goes wrong. You have a limit. You have a loss. You have a max loss that you're willing to take on that idea. I keep seeing, and I keep hearing and seeing conversations, videos, and lessons and interviews with some of the most successful traders in the world, Paul Tudor Jones, Steve Cohen, or even on the podcast Macro Voices, when I listen to hedge fund traders and analysts that are willing to build a position, and they're willing to hold on to that position, and they're willing to wait that position out, and they're even willing to hold a loss for what seems like an extended period of time, but not past a boundary that they set, something like a 2% of capital boundary. and then the whole thing gets shut off. In the TV show, in the really awesome TV show Billions, you have Bobby Axelrod. And Bobby Axelrod is pictured here in the lower right-hand section of the page. And then the U.S. attorney, Chuck Rhodes, is up here in the upper left-hand side. And this is really the story of two men that are not willing to give up a loss. They're not willing to do it. They hold on to their losses and they pay dearly for it. That's really that's an underlying message and lesson about trading inside of a show that's totally fictional. And they take huge bets and then they hold on to them until they become excruciating, and then they have to let go and sometimes take a loss. And neither of them ever appears to learn their lesson, and it makes for great television. It doesn't make for a great trading strategy, however. So we need patience. We need a willingness to hold on. We need a boundary and a limit for losses. And then one other thing that you need, that I think is maybe the most important, is you need a vision. We're talking about planning and taking huge trades, huge wins, big payoff in exchange for the risk. Something like a trade that risks 2% of your capital in order to grow your capital by 10% or 20%, or even much more than that, 50%. And that's never a guarantee, right? But it's a vision. And the clearer vision that you have about that trade, and the more that you can visualize it with clarity and brilliance in your mind, the more likely it is that you're going to know it when you see it, and you're going to be able to take it. And there is, right now, on the charts, an opportunity. And I want to show you exactly what it is. Yesterday, I bought the SPXU, which wins if the S&P 500 goes down. And I am expecting a significant move toward the yearly pivot, just like we saw back in 2015 in guess what month? August. In August of 2015, after a long run-up in the S&P 500, a significant run-up, we had a market correction. And it was swift, and it was fast, and it happened over a 2-week period of time, and it scared the bones off of a lot of people. And that is exactly what I am looking for again. Now, we didn't get that same kind of a move in August of 2016. And I don't expect that August is the secret month or whatever. I don't expect that that's the case. What I expect is the case is that yearly pivots like to be hit. And there is a very strong chance that before the end of the year, we are going to rise at least halfway the distance to the yearly pivot. That's just likely to happen. And it's likely to happen if we wait long enough for that trade to come. It's likely to happen over a short period of time. And I want to be patient with it. I want to have the willingness to hold on to this for at least a week and probably 2. And I want to have a boundary and a limit for my losses so that I'm not getting into a trade and then hoping and praying that going against the market's going to pay off for me. And I want to have a clear vision of what it looks like for me to take this trade and hold on to it. So here it is. Here's the visualization. Here's the thing that I can clearly picture in my mind. Taking the trade, which I did yesterday. I swiped up on that Robinhood account and I bought the SPXU, holding on to the trade. I can visualize myself. I can clearly see myself holding on to this trade. I can picture in my mind doing a webinar with you where we're still in this trade as it's rising. Now, just visualizing it isn't going to make it happen, but it's going to make it easier for me to hold on to this trade once it's winning, even though I'm tempted to close it. Closing the trade. I can visualize myself closing the trade if that loss gets to 2% of my total account balance. I can clearly see in my mind a willingness to close that trade out, cut the loss, give up on the trade, and move on with the rest of my life. I can see myself doing that, but I can also see myself closing this trade, part of the trade, halfway the distance to the yearly pivot, and then letting the rest of that trade ride. Can you clearly visualize your next big trade? Well, that's what this upcoming Saturday class will be all about. Now, I'm going to put this on sale today, even though none of it's done. I'm going to put it on sale today at an early bird price. And if you're watching on Facebook, you can click on the link and you can get more information about the class and sign up for that early bird. And inside of that class, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to teach you the step-by-step method for finding and planning and taking those trades. I'm going to talk to you about the psychology of taking the bigger trade. And I'm going to teach you the risk management necessary to turn what is a potential 2% loss that you are willing to take into something that could become a 10% all the way up to a 100% gain in your account. That class will be taught live on a Saturday. All of it will be recorded, and then those lessons will be placed inside of, you know, a members area where you can watch it for all time and forever. And then we'll produce a 1 month report on all the Titan trades that are setting up. Now, of course, if you're a lifetime member, hey, God bless America, you're in. You don't have to do anything. You're going to get automatic access to this class. But if you're not, sign up for the class or for lifetime membership before, let's say, the last Saturday in the month of August, and it's going to be awesome. Thank you so much for being here in our morning party / webinar / I love the heck out of you, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye for now.